Hello and welcome. My guest today is filmmaker Anurag Basu. His latest film Barfi has charmed both filmgoers and critics alike, combining a modern outlook and cinematic aesthetic with a traditional Indian sensibility that keeps the emotion at the core of the story intact. Basu is at heart a storyteller. From becoming a filmmaker to shifting genres to surviving cancer and battling failure. Today, we're going to try and get to the heart of his story. Please welcome Anurag Basu.
Thanks, Anuradha. Thanks.
Anurag, nothing succeeds like success, isn't it?
Yeah.
Barfi, I think as we are speaking, is a week old, 60 crore rupees or thereabouts in collections. 4.5 stars in ratings, 3, 4.5. Nothing succeeds like success.
I can't stop blushing because it's so humbling, and we never expected this actually. In fact, when we started conceiving this film, we thought, no, we should keep it commercially very viable. Maybe this will not work in box office, still should make money. So we kept everything very normal and easy, but it's all bonus for us right now because we are not expecting this at all.
What role do the fact that you have stars playing your lead roles have to do with a film like this being successful?
For me, when I write a story, how the star comes to the story, I'll tell you. The process, when I write a story, I say, does this film need a star? And the answer is yes. Whenever I think this film needs money to be made, जब फिल्म बनाने के लिए पैसे लगते हैं, तब स्टार चाहिए होते हैं, because they bring money to the film, and we are fortunate that we have actors. We have actor stars like Ranbir. It's not that I'm doing any compromise and taking a star and compromising the character. So it was plus because this film needed a certain budget to be made.
Let's talk about Ranbir because a lot has been said about him, and I've seen the movie and you can't take your eyes off him. He is just so good. And yet a lot of why he's good is also because of the choices he's making, isn't it? Like you said, he's an actor star, so you didn't have to compromise when you went for Ranbir. How do you think he's approaching his body of work? Because I know that he takes a lot from the director, isn't it?
Success doesn't get into his head. He's always open to learn each and every day and everything from everybody. And he follows his heart. Even to say yes to a film, he will not take much time, because Barfi, I went and narrated and he immediately said, yes, I want to do this film. He doesn't think box office, he doesn't think numbers. He's creating his own path. And eventually it will take him to, this 1,500 crore clubs or 100 crore club, but he's not bothered about it. The roles which he's scared to approach, he says yes to. And that's the biggest thing.
As a filmmaker, how much can you afford to follow your heart, given that you operate in as commercial a construct as the actor?
I always followed my heart. Not always, ek or do. I think there are some films which I have not followed my heart and which failed in box office, but most of the time I folled my heart.
Did you not follow your heart with Kites?
I'll not say Kites was my best work, but I'm not ashamed of Kites. And
no, my question is, did you not follow your heart with Kites?
Yeah, many places, yes, I didn't follow my heart in Kites, because Kites, the process of making Kites was a little different from other films which I did, because some production houses like Yash Raj and other places where you work in a democratic pattern, when you sit and discuss. Actually, it's like not following your own heart, actually following everybody's heart and mind, because we made film together. But Kites, I think more than anything else, I think the budget failed Kites actually.
It's too big.
It was too big and huge, and it was not commercially viable, because it was still in top 3 box office grosser that year, and still it was a flop. I think it never happened before. And I think the budget failed Kites. Otherwise, it was, I think for me, the numbers were huge. It was, and none of my films got that number ever in box office.
So when you say as a director, as a filmmaker, you need to follow your heart, does that mean that you need complete and total creative freedom?
Yeah, I realized that film is not a democratic process at all. It should be one person's vision from beginning to end. And everybody should, trust the director, follow the director and his instincts. And that's what happened in the films which has worked for me.
Why did you want to tell the story of Barfi, a deaf-mute boy, a young girl like any of us, and of an autistic girl? What made you want to tell us this story? Why did you think that this is a story you want to tell? Because you have so many.
Yeah, a lot of things actually. I cannot just pinpoint one reason. When I sit and decide when this Barfi actually took shape, I really can't pinpoint one thing, because I sometimes the most beautiful thing in the life, you don't remember how it started, because I don't remember when I saw my wife for the first time. So you don't remember, but it just, for example, I was watching Metro in theater. I've still not seen Barfi in theater. So when you see theater, because I'm scared, because I'm just looking for flaws in the film. And I saw a big flaw in Metro. It was critically acclaimed, doing well in box office, but I could close my eyes and understand the whole film. It was so verbose, the whole film. And it was like a radio play on a big screen. And I thought, why I'm wasting the medium I'm working, I'm misusing the medium. And then this thought actually of our generation, when we fall in love, it's not selfless at all actually. There's so many notions we come with, social strata, money, so many things. But love can be absolutely pure and selfless, which is the love of Barfi and children. You don't need so many things to be happy. In small trivial things in life can make you really happy. That was the main idea of the film.
So I get that you saw Metro and you found it verbose. So there was a cinematic challenge for you personally.
And then I wrote this story which could
attack that. And what about the fact that selfless love? Why was that a story that interested you? I want to know your story, Anurag. You have to tell me the personal trigger for you to find that subject interesting.
Actually, post illness, this came to me. My whole priorities in life changed. My outlook towards life changed. Not drastically, but
you're talking about the fact that you battled cancer and you're a cancer survivor.
Yes. So post my cancer, nothing changed much, because I never took cancer very seriously. I took it like a blood pressure, diabetes. That's the reason I could, win it over. But the one major thing it changed actually my outlook towards life, because I thought my priorities got changed. First it was fame, money. Bollywood में यही होता है. आप पैसे, fame, you have to come on page 3.
And when you started with TV, so पहले TV say you want to become a filmmaker, then filmmaker you want to work with big stars,
big actors, and page 3, and you want to sit in the front row of every award function. It all became so stupid and so futile after watching. क्यों कर रहे हैं सब? कोई मतलब नहीं है. And my outlook changed towards life. I said that then my priorities changed. It became family, kids, food, music, and then movies actually. And movies came last. I think वो जो है ना, उससे then this thing about selfless love, actually I really started enjoying life every day after. When my priorities got changed in life. I'm happy every day.
So this happened around 2004. You did 2 films after sort of getting back to normal, for lack of a better word, right? You did Gangster and Life in a Metro. So then why was Barfi something that you would attribute to the experience of
Gangster and Metro
fighting?
Both were conceived before I was, it was written and kept.
Right.
The creation which actually came
post this life
is Barfi actually.
Okay.
Otherwise, both Gangster and Metro, it was half written, it was ready, and post murder I wrote these 2 scripts, and then I fell ill actually.
The fact that Kites flopped, how much was that a challenge for you to overcome when it came to getting money for Barfi or getting the green light for Barfi? Not that much, I'm guessing, because of your track record prior to Kites?
Yeah, not because fortunately, no, actually. Sorry.
I don't think too many people blamed you for the failure of Kites. Would I be right in saying that?
Yeah, and people actually kind of, there was this thing in the media that I disowned the film. It was my film. It failed because of me. Nobody has to blame, because I was the person who was saying action and cut. I was there sitting there editing. Whatever the process of making of the film, democratic, not democratic, but I was the one who was calling the shot. It was my fault. And me and Ronnie go a long way actually, UTV, television days. And we have immense trust, and this kind of, in fact, we were talking about Barfi much before release of Kites already. And we are fortunate that there are few directors we get away giving a flop, because there are very few directors in Bollywood. Hai kitne? We make flops and we still get to make another film because producers don't have choice.
So that's good. You should be happy about it.
I'm happy. It's a sad thing, because we don't have competition. There's not many directors are coming up in Bollywood. That's why we are getting away giving flop and getting another chance to make a film. Otherwise, 7-8 साल पहले आप फ्लॉप देते, आपको तो घर बैठना पड़ता, फिर घूमना पड़ता एक और फिल्म के लिए.
Life in a Metro is my favorite Anurag Basu film, followed by Gangster. But can I tell you something, that when I saw Life in the Metro, I just loved the film. And yet, I wasn't able to 100% and wholeheartedly give Anurag Basu, the filmmaker, my undying devotion as a fan. And that is because I was disappointed that I saw Billy Wilder's The Apartment as a story in this film. If I hadn't seen Billy Wilder's The Apartment, I wouldn't have had a problem at all.
Yeah, yeah.
Question I'm getting to is, you make great films. You tell lovely stories. Why do you feel the need to do this? Even in Barfi, I was reading a website, I think it's called, you have to give credit, Mua Fight Club, if I'm not wrong. And there is this several scenes in Barfi that they've picked up, and they've shown, whether it's Singing in the Rain, or Cops, Buster Keaton's, or Amelie, or you know it.
So I know it.
So my question, and then they have asked, is this homage? Is this inspiration, or is this plagiarism? And that is my question to you. Yeah. Which one of these three it is? Because I also understand that we build subconsciously and consciously on the shoulders of what we've seen.
Yeah. I'll see, because this whatever the site, because if you see our promotional trips and what we said during promotion of the film, I think whatever is coming out of Barfi is coming out of our interviews, because I have said that we have, how many people knew Buster Keaton in India? We said in the interview there are scenes inspired from Buster Keaton and Charlie Chaplin and other places. Is that before the release of the film, I said on record. And yeah, it was my shortcoming, because there was a lot of physical comedy in the film, which I was not very, I couldn't think original out of it, because I had to see films and silent era films to understand that. And which I repeatedly told in every interview. And you'll see one of the shot where there's a scene which is like a Charlie Chaplin scene, camera pans and stays on the Charlie Chaplin poster. So, and however, I wanted to give homage to him, because this is a scene from there. Amelie and all, people are drawing comparison, but I think it's just a genre. I think there's nothing similar. People are drawing, background uske jaise hai. But yeah, it is like a European kind of background. You have accordion and violin playing. It doesn't mean that it's Amelie music. Billy Wilder, yes, because I'll tell you the reason. It's not an excuse I'm giving.
The Apartment. Yeah, which is the Kangana Ranaut track in Life in a Metro.
You will see Indian theatre, you'll ask any guy in Indian theatre. Because when I grew up till class 12th, I have not seen hardly any Hindi films, forget English films, because I grew up in a very small town. Hindi film आती थी भिलाई 2 सिनेमा हॉल होता था. English film तो दूर की बात है, हम लोग हिंदी फिल्में गिन के देखे थे. So my knowledge about literature and everything was books and theatre play. Anybody will tell you a play called Chabi, which is very famous in Indian play circuit. I never knew that play is actually a copy of Billy Wilder Apartment. So I used to do that play called Chabi, and I used to play that role of what Shaman played. It was really in my head, and I really wanted to make a film around it, because that's the play I did when I was in first year college, second year college. Then the film came out of that play, and not out of that play, but it was part of it. And a similar incident happened actually in my society. There was a society meeting, and people said this room has been used by a lot of people. And I said, this is a great thing to write. But initially, it's not that people didn't warn me that it was before this, when the script was ready. When I was writing the script, a lot of people said, this is Apartment and all that, before going to the floor, shooting it. But thing is that everything was falling apart from where it was started. So I had to write, because I was loving the film. Either मैं सब उसको कच्चे में डाल देता कि अभी छोड़ो, अभी फिर से काम शुरू करते हैं. लेकिन that's how it started, because I thought I was writing something very original.
How do you come to terms with this? Because yes, a lot of people don't know, and if they don't know, they don't mind. But the people who know will respect you a little bit less, isn't it? And they don't need to, because you do good work.
Yeah. So, but I think as long as people should appreciate the story and the screenplay of the film, as long as it is original. Because when you write scene, conceive scene, when you're doing scene on the set, you tend to remember what you have seen, unconsciously, consciously. When you're improvising on the set. So you tend to actually, some things, maybe it is not consciously, because things come from what you've seen, what you've heard, what you've read. So it comes to you. But as long as you're writing the story and the screenplay as original story and screenplay, and which is very important. I don't think you can draw a comparison to any film in the world which has this kind of story what Barfi has and the screenplay of Barfi. It's not.
So you're saying that the educated or the knowledgeable film goer should not look at scenes which may seem
No,
to
they
be...
should, because no, it's not that I'm defending myself. That's
No, friend, I just want to
story or
understand
screenplay
how
kar
you...
diye.
What is your take on this?
Because
Where do
I
you stand
think,
on this?
no, because I think
Because this becomes an issue of integrity of an artist at the end of the day.
See, for example, taking Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton, I thought, because when you see Hugo, when people don't point that that scenes have taken from Harold Lloyd silent films. When you see artists, why people have this habit, just pulled on one Indian director and who's saying in the top of his voice before the film releases that I have taken things from Buster Keaton and Charlie Chaplin. It's not that I'm letting people discover and then I'm saying this. I've told all these interviews. I've told Ranveer also, Ranveer, you should tell on record and go and say this to people that you have inspired from Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton. We could have easily avoided it. We could have said we are genius and we have made
But you
this
can't
original.
avoid it anymore. Not in the days of the internet where people can access reference so easy. For instance, Sanjay Leela Bhansali's Guzarish. I thought it was one of his better films, and then I saw Javier Bardem in that Spanish film. I can't remember the name, Something by the Sea, and I was like, oh my God! And I felt, I can't say the word on TV. I felt like a sucker. I think that's where people have a problem.
See,
that if you say you've picked up, or that you've adapted, or that you've been inspired by, or it's an homage, not a problem. But I think if you don't say, but if scenes are similar, then I think people will just feel a little bad.
It's a little bad. But I think with Barfi, I'll just talk about Barfi right now.
Yeah, okay.
But a lot of these things, which has been coming on the, people are saying about it being inspired from this scene and that scene. But not a single person is saying that, the story is inspired from somewhere, the screenplay and the idea and the whole thing. It's very difficult in today's time, after so many years of Indian cinema, to conceive a fresh story and a fresh screenplay and a fresh characters by itself. Because everything is done. Even if you're thinking fresh, it will be compared with some work somewhere which has been done. Because all the kind of story has been told. It's very difficult. Even if I'm thinking original, it will have some similarity with something anywhere in the world.
You're saying, but some scenes which seem like you've seen them before, it could be because you've seen them before and you've said, okay, this works, let's use it. Fair to say that?
Yeah, but not, what happened was, when we were going for the Barfi, when we were conceiving the character of Ranveer and everything, as a maker also, when you conceive a character, you say Charlie Chaplin type, because he has become an icon. Charlie Chaplin type. Charlie Chaplin type kya hota hai? You become Charlie Chaplin then, no?
Yeah.
There is nothing original in it then. Because we are talking about Charlie Chaplin jaisa. So Charlie Chaplin to aa hi jayega na, matlab, that's the reference we took. Buster Keaton jaisa. So I think we took that reference and we decided that, we are taking these references. We are taking some scenes from Buster Keaton, Charlie Chaplin, some small gags. Because, my mind couldn't take out, because you have to be genius. I'm not that genius to take out.
Not yet.
Not yet, to have those kind of, and I'm very genius in other, not physical comedy. And so I said, let's take a reference from there. And we'll tell people. And it's in public domain. There's no copyright. I said UTV, we are taking these references from there. And we'll tell the whole world that, we are taking references. And we did that.
So Anurag, when you saw Metro, you said that you felt it was verbose. And as a filmmaker, that's what you felt was a flaw. Barfi? Too early to say what you feel you
I
could
know
have done
about my flaws.
already?
I already know the flaws of the film.
What would you have done differently if you
Nothing,
had
because
hindsight?
One thing is, all the critics actually, the thing they loved, some critics, the same thing, the other critics didn't like. People loved the screenplay of the film, the time travel and everything, and some critics didn't like the time travel so much.
I'm not a critic, but I've seen the film. I felt that the time travel, the flashback and flashback within flashback, was a bit overdone.
Yeah, so
maybe
that's
maybe we're all impatient now. We just want to get on with it. But I also heard you say in an interview that if you hadn't used that narrative, the story may have been a bit boring.
Very boring. I tried writing a non-linear. It's not that I decided and this was my first draft. I wrote some 10 drafts after this, trying to avoid this, trying to have more linear, trying to have true flow motion. But it was so predictable. I knew what was going to happen next. It was, and maybe what is disturbing you, the reason you are enjoying the film actually. So I think the length and the screenplay, I could have, because there were so many layers. In the film, I have created my own web and got stuck into it because there were so many layers in the film, and I had to have this screenplay and to justify everything and rounding it up in the end.
As a director, in terms of craft, what is an area that you think will challenge you or you'd like to take on to hone craft?
The next challenge will be how to make a film which will be appreciated equally here and abroad, not Indian diaspora, mainstream audience.
Why is that such a big goal for so many contemporary Indian filmmakers
Because-
today? Whether it's you, whether it's Anurag Kashyap, I mean, there's so many people who want to be seen as
Identified.
international filmmakers and, way beyond the
But why
diaspora.
not? Why not?
No, I'm not saying why not. Of course, why
Yeah.
not? I'm saying
Why?
why is there this?
I'll tell you, because
urge?
everything else is going, our painters have been appreciated abroad. Tata is going and making Jaguar in London. Everything is going in India, but we filmmakers. Because we go to Cannes, and I was talking to a lay person in a Cannes and saying, you know about India and Bollywood. He knew about Bollywood dancing, singing and dancing. And I asked him about, any Bollywood directors. He said, he took 3 names. He said, Meera Nair, Shekhar Kapoor and Satyajit Ray. We don't exist in world map. Nobody knows our films. We don't have world audiences. The Korean, they are very young film industry. They make 10 times more movies than we do, but they make 10 times more money because they have the world audience. Their movie in a cinema, when you're going in a flight, you'll see Korean movie in the world cinema category, not a Bollywood category.
I think if your dream as a director is to make sure that Indian cinema gets onto the world map, like a lot of other Indian things, that's a good goal. We wish you all the best. We love watching your movies and we look forward to more. So we
Thanks,
wish you
Anuradha.
all the best, Anurag.
Thanks,
all the
Siddharth.
best.